He has been a huge supporter of what we're doing here. He actually earned himself a spot on this show. We did some local showcases. He sold the most tickets. He's one of, I'm trying to figure out how to explain. He's one of my closest friends in comedy. He's a hilarious guy. It's been fun to watch him grow. I say it every time. He probably thinks I'm flirting with him, but I'm not.
Wait, you're not?
But no, he's grown far beyond what I could imagine, and he's definitely earned it. He's been working his ass off to get here. Real quick, how many teachers are in the building right now? Alright, so for the ones that just raised your hands, I cannot hear hands that are just solo in the air. So let's try that one more time. How many teachers are in here right now? Alright, and how many people are here for the very first time? Alright, so we got a lot of people that are going to come back. That's awesome. Alright, so we're going to get this thing started, like I said. This next comic, our very first comic, he is a lawyer, so you can see him after the show if you need some legal help. He does charge quite a bit. It's not worth it, but he does charge you. Everybody give it up for my dear friend, Mr. Chris K, everybody.
All right, keep it going for Eric and the Giddy Jets. These guys are awesome. All right, so I found out that there's a bunch of teachers here. Any other lawyers here? So, any rabbis? We can really complete this joke. No, I am a lawyer. That's true. I had a trial yesterday in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. I don't like to give free legal advice, but here's a little bit. If your lawyer is doing stand-up comedy within 36 hours of jury selection, you're going to jail. I'm not even a criminal lawyer. The poor bastard just got in a car accident. But and I feel like if I'm telling you a little bit about myself, I'm going to be honest. My name is not really Chris K. I changed it for comedy. My full name is Christopher Christofko. That's not the punchline. So I changed it because I didn't want, poor Eric to have to ever pronounce that on stage. And also, Christofko kind of sounds like a Norwegian aluminum fabricator. And also because it's possible that my grandfather's a Nazi war criminal. I can't prove it, I just don't really like the guy. I'll look into it next time I'm at a family reunion in Argentina. So I could tell that in a room full of teachers. I thought I'd get a little bit more laughter from the History Channel crew, but I learned very early on that my name is difficult to pronounce. I was 12 years old. It was the greatest event of my life. It was the finals of a soccer tournament, and at this tournament, they announced every player by name. And I was the goalkeeper, so I was last. In goal, number 1, Christopher Christofako. I was fucko for 4 years in high school. So you can call me Chris K. I'm okay with that. I grew up very Catholic. Anybody else? Probably not as Catholic as me. I grew up, my dad was a former priest Catholic. Now, I don't really have enough time to even scratch the surface of that. But I'll tell you that it did make some things awkward. Imagine getting the talk from your dad. And in his last job, in the job description, it required celibacy. Dad, your old boss, his parents didn't even have sex. So I wondered how much he could really teach me about those things. And I remember one time I got in trouble. I had done something, I was disrespectful, and he was going to show me who's boss. I was sitting at the dining room table, and he's standing there, and he says, "You do not talk to me like that. I'm the father, you're son. And I hear from upstairs my little brother, and I'm the Holy Spirit. My dad tried. And I talked about being Catholic. It really was a big part of growing up. I started questioning religion though when I asked the difficult questions, right? Like, did Jesus have a big cock? No, think about it. He can't have like this massive Messiah-sized hog. That's the sin of pride. But he's the Son of Man. So he also can't be hung like a Tic Tac. So I think I figured it out. Jesus had a completely average penis. And that led me to other questions that were even more difficult, like, can God get an erection so large even he can't jerk it? It makes you think. And a little time for some crowd work. Does anybody have a debilitating illness that's a little bit embarrassing? Tough room. And I say that because I have anxiety. It's pretty bad, and it's a little bit embarrassing because what is anxiety? It's just my brain making shit up about me. And I believe it. And then, it's also embarrassing because, there are serious, hardcore mental illnesses out there. Like schizophrenia, that's scary as shit. Like voices telling you to do things. I'm just scared of vague, spooky notions. And the worst part of anxiety is that, it can happen at the worst time. So a couple of weeks ago, I was walking into work. There's another guy coming the other direction. He cut the corner around the building a little bit too tight. He bumped into me. And he said, "Oh, I'm sorry," which is normal. But at that moment, for some reason, my brain froze. And I didn't say anything, which is not normal. So at that point, my brain couldn't decide between "you're fine" and "no worries." So I stood there, and then I start sweating because time is passing, and I'm looking at this guy, and I'm staring into his very soul, so I have to say something, so finally I say, "No. You're worried." And then I walked away. Of course, later that afternoon, I resigned my job, rather than ever face that guy again. I'm a dad. How many parents are out there? I'm learning that as a dad, I try really hard, but I'm really bad at it sometimes. So I have 2 daughters, and I understand the importance of quality time and bonding. So a couple weeks ago, I'm in the kitchen, and I feel a particularly gnarly fart coming on. The real rumbler. And I think to myself, what should I do? So I call my daughters from the other room, quality time. And they drop their iPads, they come running, they have hope in their eyes, maybe they're getting some brownies, little do they know. And as they're coming from the living room, I realize there's a stool. And if I put my leg up on that stool, I'm gonna get maximum volume out of this one. Look, I'm a dad. Farts are my currency. And this is what I do. So I'm standing there, and at this point I should let you know I'm shirtless and I'm wearing boxer shorts. So I kind of look like Captain Morgan. Went to January 6th. And look, I'm nothing if not committed to the bit. So as my 2 tween daughters round the corner, I look them right in the eyes and I yell, "Arr!" At this point, I should probably tell you that the boxer shorts I was wearing were a little loose fitting. By putting my leg up on the don't read ahead, please. By putting my leg up on the stool, I had inadvertently created an expressway. Directly from my butthole to the floor. A Hershey Highway, if you will. And as my daughters, those precious children, rounded the corner and I made eye contact, I screamed. And I also unleashed a torrent of half diarrhea directly onto the kitchen floor. And we stared at each other. Because, you know, quality time. So next time you're wondering if you're giving your kids too much screen time, remember that I pulled my kids away from their iPads so they can see their dad's shit on the floor. My name's Chris Kenny. You guys have been amazing. Thanks so much. I can't get around like that.